Hey everybody, we're here, we're back, One Piece, 1134. Happy to be here. We got the stream right before Christmas, so I appreciate everybody that's in here joining me during the holiday season, right before the holidays. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Pretty sure this, I mean, we're at the end of the year, so I don't know if there's a break or not, but as has been the case with the last 20-something years, there should be a break. So we should be streaming, I think, one more time at least before the end of the year to do our yearly wrap up, talk about what the best chapters of 2024 were, and send ourselves into 2025 on a fun note. I was talking with Daxaki recently because he does a lot of giveaways on his channel, and I wanted to know how he did it. So he shared his method with me. I don't have everything set up to do it today, even though that would have been nice, and I would have liked to have done something before Christmas. I still want to do something, like figure giveaways and stuff like that. So that will be something that will likely be in some sort of likely members community post. So I would say, keep an eye out for that. You have to opt in because I have to manually type in everybody's name. So, if you want to be in the giveaway, then you would opt in. We'll do something on a stream where we can see the spinning wheel go across a bunch of names, and then if you're chosen, then you win whatever the giveaway thing is. And I'll probably have to keep it to US and Canada only, unfortunately, just for now, just to avoid really painfully unnecessarily high shipping costs. But I want to be able to give back to at least some of you guys, and I appreciate all the the support that you guys have given me over the years. And I've been wanting to do giveaways for a long time, but I haven't been able to find the right way. I think I've found it now. I want to find one with like that, where it can be something where whoever's in the stream at that time can participate, but I haven't found that yet. And but one day I'm going to find that. And either way, let's get into this chapter. Let's do this. I have scripts ready for 2 new videos, but I have to see what this chapter ends up being in case I have to change some of it. So I'm thinking we'll have a video before the end of the year, and then one probably to start off the new year. So that would be the idea here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see my guy Ty. I see Dizza. We still haven't talked about GNX. Saeed, BK, Duran, the Tilter, Kip, Big Stinky Red Hood. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. We did get super early in the stream from Veronica, much appreciated. There's actually one from Veronica from last week that I have to read too. This one says, "A captain wanted to wish our crew Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. May next year be another year of One Piece." Another great year for sure. And then also from Veronica, this was from the last chapter when we were talking about all the math piece Veronica said, Data she. I'm done arguing about smaller things being coincidences. Oda rules. He also loves math. Long live math piece. Who cares about math definitions? All right. I am looking at the first page here. This might go down as a top 10 color spread, to be perfectly honest. Like, I am living for this Frankie Gigantor here. Like, this should be Frankie's final form. Like, this is exactly what I think I've always wanted out of Frankie, like his progression. Oh man, a Frankie Mechazord? This is phenomenal. Seeing Kane said that this is a tribute to Kazuki Yao. That makes sense. And I love this. I also love the symbolism here, you know, that ties into Frankie's dream. He wants to be, you know, the one that... now he's literally the ship carrying them to the end as far as this color spread is concerned. I really like this. Robin's drippy. I like Luffy's jacket. Usopp is on his is giving me big Hibari vibes from the sword chapters. Jinbei looking unusually well dressed. This is actually probably one of the best Zoro outfits I've ever seen. Oh, there's Sanji. Yeah, he's dripping. And Brooke is giving me GI Robot there. Alright, so that's fun. Moving on to the first page here. The Owl Library. Alright, phenomenal. Phenomenal. We're going into the library. Is this our lore dump chapter that I've been waiting for? Lucas White looking... that's the word I couldn't find. Uncharacteristically. Looking uncharacteristically well-dressed, Jinbei was, yes. Brandon, I did not see the We Are Eternal, but now I have. Now that you mention it, now I see it. Great detail. I also just found Chopper. Okay. Old Man Saul, a long time ago you did a great favor to one of our youngins. Thank you kindly. Who taught him to talk like this? Begging your pardon. Where did he get this? This feels so specific. Now, I mean, he was taught how to thank people from Makino, right? But I've never seen him do this, but it's like very clear that he is using an elder's speech. He's doing the Jinbei thing from Wano, the Yakuza greeting. Jinbei when he came back from the raid in Wano. Alright. Where and how did you learn that? Well met, good sir. Alright, Luffy might as well just say verily now. What was the thing that Luffy said like 2 or 3 chapters ago? And I was like, when would he have ever learned that word or used... I can't remember what the word is now. That I just was like hung up on in the translation. Oh, embed. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Luffy said to Loki, like, I'm gonna embed you in that rock. I'm like, Luffy, that's like a 5th grade word. Where'd you learn that? Maybe 4th grade. I mean, or 6th. I don't know. Anyway. Did a she. Yeah, I know about Luffy. He's famous. So you found him after all, huh, Robin? what? Ugh. It's the end of the year. It's probably going to be a banger chapter. I'm going to pause for a second so I can get some OST going. All right. We're on the next page here. Robin says, I did. Just as you said, I found them, Saul. Found true friends. The ones that will stand up to protect me. Everybody turns, says that they'll protect her for life. Luffy agrees, of course. Listen, all of you friends of Robin's, thanks for coming all this way to Elbaf. Sorry about the surprise and all. I rehearsed it over and over with my assistant, Ange. Yeah, for those who probably, may not have realized, we did talk about this last time, but the panels where Robin reunites with Saul are complete recreations of the panels, almost as if Oda traced them from chapter 392, Darashi. So Oda rehearsed it as well. Next page. Years ago I was in the Navy, so I know what a big deal the Four Emperors are. So this is confirmation that the Yonko system is not something that is new. We have had no confirmation that the system really existed prior to 6 years ago. We've just assumed it. We know for a fact that Shanks became an emperor 6 years ago. But we don't know who he replaced, if he replaced anybody, if there were always four. We don't know. But now we know that it was a thing 20 years ago. Thank you so much for keeping Robin safe. All I can say is keep it up. You bet we will. I like this shot of Chopper. Makes his outfit look good. Lilith. See, I said Lilith probably showed up with them. Somebody last time was like, oh, Lilith is back in the town. Yeah, no, we need Vega Punk to basically say, hey, I'm Vega Punk. And of course, Saul doesn't know who Lilith is. How are you flying? I'm Vega Punk. So it's out of the way now. All right. Is this what you wanted? Oh yeah, that's right. Jinbei was packing luggage. Ah, yes, perfect. Oh, allow me. Vegapunk requested that we bring this all the way from Egghead. What's inside? This? Me? Oh my god. This is another thing. If this is what it really is, this is another thing that we had talked about being a possibility. All right. A Vegapunk clone, a perfect recreation, not like we satellites. This was the me who came here 20 years ago. Don't you think the government would have been suspicious if the Stella had left his lab for months at a time? Anyway, I snuck him out, Nevada biofluid, but I don't have the facility to safely extract him. That's why I intend to settle down here and build a new laboratory. So, I could see this being controversial, right? We're going to get the Stella back. Now, I wonder if it's going to be the split head version or if it's going to be a younger version. You know, like, would he have recreated himself old? Or would he, like, using his knowledge, try to give himself a little, you know, flexibility in his years? We saw all the organs and everything, so it was kind of set up, and people have been talking about this for since we saw the organs, that, like, if anybody was going to die, you know, or get hurt, they would be able to get transplants and figure all this out. And obviously, Vegapunk had made clones, so this isn't a stretch of the imagination. But this is another situation where, you know, you do the fake out death or whatever of a character and bring them back. If this is the direction we're going, I haven't continued past this page, still on page 6, just spitballing here. But Vegapunk coming back doesn't upset me in like a Kinemon or Pell way, because it was set up in the science fiction route of everything that was going on. Like, it was very telegraphed, like, hey, you know, Oda is a character that loves to milk these, you know, these deaths, but now the story and the plot gave him a way to do it without it really feeling as cheap or contrived as some other ones in the series. I still love that Saul's back, though. I don't care either way if Vegapunk comes back, because I never expected him to really die anyway. I thought maybe he'd be a hologram on the ship or something. I've been waiting for Vegapunk to come back, like the actual Stella, so here we go. Okay, now this part. Verdict isn't really out on this part. Lilith, does that mean you'll be able to make my daddy all better? Of course, Bonnie. I love Kuma, but that... I don't care about Vegapunk coming back, but Kuma... Alright, let me just read. Yay! If you're really Vegapunk, then I'm delighted to see you again after 20 long years. It's been 20 years since he's been to Elbaf? So he read all of those books and then never came back? That's wild. My headcanon was that he was, like, making frequent trips to Elbaf, or he had at least been there within the last 5 years. But I can't wrap my head around it. Why are you a woman? Oh, who cares? I can explain later. Mr. Saul, are you done now? Can we go play? Can we go play? What? Oh yeah, sorry about that. Thanks for your help, kids. Normally, this spring is a playground for the children, so we had to ask them to stay quiet for Mr. Saul's little one-man act. You did all of that, and she saw right through it. Forgive the late introduction. I'm Saul's assistant, Ange, or Ange. Owl librarian. Saul's assistant. Sorry to talk down to you like this. We run the best library in school in Elbaf here. Next page. I can show you around if you'd... This place looks fun. They're already gone. This is where warriors of Elbaf Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. That's the Walrus School, where the children of Elbaf learn. Saul founded it 20 years ago at the behest of the former king. Former king? Okay. Wow, that looks so neat. I like the little walrus crest. Alright, we got some giant kids here, one in a top hat. Luffy and Usopp heading up. Yeah, we got a double pager. So long, Ange and Gerd, show them wherever they want to go. I'm gonna give Robin a little tour of the library. Okay. Let's go, Chopper. I'm more curious about the library. Are the books huge, too? Haven't been in a school in ages. Okay, so Brooke went to school. And I'll protect you, Nami. Curious about this island's giant tree. Of course you are, because it's the Atom Tree. It's what you built the Sunny with. Okay. We got some kids chasing after them. Zoro's now with the exploring team. Pipsqueak humans catch him and take him prisoner. Yahaha, it's a land of giants. Should I slash them? Don't even think about it. Yeah, I guess kids are meant to be brats. Moving on to the next page. Stop that. Don't chase the humans around. Sorry, and don't say Pipsqueak. They're such wimps. Are these brats really from the village of warriors? Hey, you're not supposed to call us brats. Wait, this is weirding me out. Listen, you can call us Pipsqueak humans, it's fine. And you guys are gonna go out to sea one day and fight ruffians, aren't you? No, we're not. That's dangerous. Usopp's entire world is imploding. Like, everybody's supposed to be a warrior. Even the kids. Who are these nerds? Ah! Alright. What? Aren't you guys the next generation of Elbaf warriors? Don't call us guys. What? It's not in anymore. Is it not? I say guys all the time. To everybody. Am I learning something? Next page. Whose voice was that? It was an adult. What do you mean it's not in anymore? You should probably move. You're gonna get yelled at. You're standing on top of Miss Ripley. Oh my god. This is an inversion of Green Bit here, right? Instead of the Tentata being in, inside Robin's chest, these guys are the Tentata now, essentially. Yeah. So we've got Ripley, cool design here. Walrus School biology teacher. Interesting. Okay, oh, we're on top of a giant. Sorry, ha ha ha, it's fine, you're not heavy. This is shocking to you? When the warriors of Elbaf were ransacking the world, that was 100 years ago. So the giants are civilized now. Brandon said, well, it's actually Shirahoshi 2.0. Yeah, that too. But, that also predates Green Bit. I'm still getting more of an inversion of Green Bit vibes. Even though it is very much like Luffy and Shirahoshi. Insults, violence, pillaging, war. That's just not the world we live in anymore. What? But it's Warland. Next page. Welcome. I heard about you from Saul. You must be the Straw Hat crew. Oh, there they are. Sorry, our brats are so damn annoying. Hey, your tone of voice. Miss Ripley, that's mean. I teach by negative example. The great King Harold once said, "Don't fight other countries. Trade with them." He got into many arguments with the village chiefs and their traditions. So Harold was about open borders. King Harold. He was a great king who tried to reform this country, was killed by his own son before his dreams could be realized. But the country refused to give his son the throne, and so Elbaf has no king now. That's very interesting. Okay. Luffy will be their king. Okay, history lesson over. Go and show them around the school, kids. Yes, Miss Ripley. Go on now. Why aren't you in your white-haired form, Captain? I was looking forward to that. Oh, that's my free form. Okay, so they know about it. There's a warrior who looks like that in Elbaf's mythology. Oh yeah? It made my heart race. We're the last generation of warriors here. Oh. So you've already heard most of the story. Basically, I fled for my life and managed to get here to Elbaf. Yeah, that's a long trek from the West Blue. Next one. Okay. But I couldn't help but worry about the books those scholars gave their lives to protect. So I asked Hyruden's crew to take me back to Ohara. Oh. So he went to Elbaf, then back to Ohara. Interesting, okay. When I found all those tiny books clinging to life, I wept. Come on in, Robin, but watch out for that book. What the? A giant archaeology book. Bittershishishi. Ain't it something? All those books are now giant-sized. Wait, what? I love the look of this library. Every book you bring in here turns huge. This is the wondrous Owl Library. In here you'll find all the texts that Ohara protected 22 years ago. We searched all over the island to find every last one. You can check, they're all here. Interesting. So we've got Robin, Chopper, Lilith, and Bonnie. It's an interesting squad. This is the world's best library. You like books? Can't believe I finally get to show this to you. Wow. All right. The Underworld. I need to get a water. Got one here. Ah, yes, you're almost as bored as me. Am I bothering you? I could use a conversation partner. I've got all the time in the world. Are you still traumatized by that experience you were telling me about? I am. Even now, the memory makes me tremble uncontrollably. Hurts me to hear it, too. I've never met you nor seen you, but through some twist of fate, we've been long friends. We've long been friends. No transponder snail. Cold resistant speech. Recognition type. Who's on the other line? If I were there in your place, I'd have razed it to the ground and killed them all instead. I wasn't hoping for that much. And that's why you're so weak, Shaggy. Ruh-roh. Listen, you don't want to let these fools get away. Put them down for good, or they'll come back for vengeance. Why, thank you. I've realized recently that those fearsome words of yours hide your kindness. Don't make me sick. How dare you suggest such a thing? I'll not have you sassing me like this. Me? Kind? Never say that again. Please don't shout. Shut up, just wait until I get these chains off, Shaggy. He's not letting us know who that is, huh? Western Village, Elbaf. Hey, the feast hasn't started yet. We're just drinking as we wait. That's a little too much. We've got a giant hockey lightning bolt into the castle. Okay. Dory here. Yes.
Another one. Another one. And another one.
Ooh. Fast travel unlocked. I've been saying, ever since we saw the Gorosei do it, I was like, Shanks can do this. It explains everything. How he got into the Holy Land, how he got to Marineford. You know, we had talked about maybe he was, you know, using painters and all of that in recent chapters, but this was something. This was a hill that I've been on for a while. That we would see Shanks use some form of this like thing here, and you know, and I also love, like, I wonder if the cloaks are, if they're design or if they're part of it. Like, is this part of the religion or something? You know, and it's so interesting to me when you take into consideration that this looks and feels exactly like when Brooke got summoned, right? So the idea of all of this stuff has been planted throughout the story. This almost implies here, right, that there's a no king, right? But what if Shanks is the king? What if Shanks is like secretly the one like pulling the strings here from Elbaf or something? It's also really interesting that he's got some, you know, girl with him. No idea who that is. Kind of looks like Lilith, but obviously not. It's Lily! I really do wonder who this can be. I mean, this is I mean, it's a way to end the year. It's a way to end the year for sure. Well, the good thing about this chapter is that it didn't impact the videos that I wrote. So just have to add like maybe 1 or 2 lines. I love this. I don't know if Oda will start the year with the lore dump. I feel like he could wait 2 chapters for that now, but I also don't know how much we're going to get with this squad. Like, it's obviously very important for Robin to know some of this stuff, but I feel like the big lore dump will not come unless more of the crew is actually there. And I feel like Luffy does need to hear whatever is, is going to be said. I don't think it's for our benefit. I think the crew needs to know these things. So I'm a little shocked that we're not getting a whale tree scenario here. But it's like, what sort of scenarios are going to happen here? Why is Shanks here? Is he here to prevent Luffy and the gang from accessing this library? Does Shanks know this library is here? Has he known? Why would he let it operate? Is he going to come and attack Saul so that they don't know the truth? Or is he going to embrace the fact that they should know the truth? Either way, I still want Luffy and Shanks to fight. Because as I've always said, I believe that their bond and everything is entirely predicated on strength-based feats. So, or at least that's the way that Luffy is going to interpret their bond. Like, he's not a great pirate until he can beat Shanks. Yeah. So let's see here. Before I get into the chat, just gonna scroll through the chapter again here. So we got the Vega Punk and Saul reunion that I said we needed. I'm glad we're not delaying it. We're getting the clone Vegapunk, which was expected. I'm not upset about that. Kuma thing, I gotta see how that plays out. And that might just be my own, I might just be lost in the sauce as far as, wanting the Niku to go to a crew member. But if they bring back Kuma and he joins the crew, then we can do that too. And she's just there. She's just there. Gotta see more there. The kids don't really do much for me. This is Oda once again trying to speak on generations and all of that, and kind of subvert expectations. Ripley seems interesting. Just gotta see more there. I feel like she'll probably play a larger role in the arc. Can't say for sure what that role will be just yet. I'm excited for the prospects of everything in the Ohara library here. The book's growing is really interesting. Everything you bring in here turns huge. So this seems like a... So what kind of devil fruit would this be? It has to be something where, like, the area is protected by some sort of, like, room. Like, it has to be... Like, the properties of it have to be like laws for where there is a room around the library that only affects inanimate objects and magnifies them, makes them bigger. Because it's not affecting Robin, Chopper, Lilith, or Bonnie. They're not turning huge. So it's inanimate objects only. And what a very specific fruit to be here in Elbaf, but, you know, I mean, that's... Everybody at Whole Cake had food fruits, pretty much, so... It's just Oda's MO. Then, I do want to know what everybody's thinking. I mean, the implication is that Loki is talking to Shanks, right? Or is he talking to somebody else, and then the Shanks thing is just not... Like, is that the... Does he want us to think he's talking to Shanks, but he's talking to somebody else? Are you still traumatized by that experience you were telling me about? I am. Even now, the memory makes me tremble uncontrollably. Never met you nor seen you, but through some twist of fate, we've long been friends. If I were there in your place, I'd have razed it to the ground, killed them all instead. Well, let these fools get away. Put them down for good. They'll come back for vengeance. At least recently, those fearsome words of yours hide your kindness. Be kind, never say that again. I don't know if he's talking to Shanks. Like, that's, like, it's really weird. It doesn't sound like Shanks. Shout out to Guild Ty Zoro. Big Ty. Appreciate you, brother. Ty said, between the will of P is missing one more fake out Infinity Stone and Attack of the Clones. Oda is definitely a film buff. Saeed, how different is the Viz with Loki's real conversation? Oh, is there some sort of, like, discrepancies between this conversation between translations here? Because that's something, you know, we definitely got to get into, because I don't know anything about that. But W's in the chat for Ty. I'm not seeing enough W's. Brandon says Shaggy is named Mosako in Japanese. Duke Mosa. Interesting. I'm gonna have to keep rereading this conversation. But yeah, Ty, we know Oda is a huge film buff. You know, and I'm sure he, like, takes in all sorts of like Viking media also, because I just feel like Ripley's design, I can't pinpoint it, but it's probably like there's probably a character in the Vikings TV show that would have something like that. Like, I feel like I've seen like the tattoo on her face somewhere before. But yeah, I feel like Elbaf's gonna have a ton of references to Wizard of Oz, Lord of the Rings, and anything with giants. Gulliver's Travels, you know. We'll see. But yeah, Attack of the Clones. And I think we'll get that Willipede before the end. We see Parasparrow come back. And we got it. Noah said, no, remember Loki met Shanks. In this chapter, Loki says he never met the person on the other side of the tendon. Yeah, so I do remember that. But that's where I'm like, is that a misdirect? Like, was Loki lying? You know, and he's talking a tough game to Luffy or something like that. Like, you never really know for sure with characters, but I'm leaning more towards that this is a different person, just because it doesn't sound like Shanks. Shanks saying "me kind," never say that again, like, and getting upset about it with like the angry font. Like, that's not even Shanks's character to get upset about something like that. So that's why I think that this is not Shanks and this is somebody else. But it is interesting to know that Loki has some sort of a pen pal, some sort of friend, because up until this point we thought maybe he was some sort of lone wolf. So he's going to have someone, you know, working with him. But the greatest thing for the story is if this does end up being somebody that we know. Like, if this is just somebody that we don't know, you know, but if it's like, oh wow, like, hey, this is cool, you know, like, it's not going to be Crocodile, but if it was someone like Crocodile, it would be like, oh wow, like, this is like a really interesting development. Like, this character has known this character. And I'm just saying that randomly, like, I'm not saying that this is Crocodile at all. But I just want a character that we know. Lucy B. Superden said, doesn't the Dendamushi look like that Loki is talking to have a long beard? Yeah, it looks like it could be someone that's old. If we're following the pattern that the Dendamushi represents the visuals of the other person in some way. Interesting that Loki's kindness is mentioned here. Never doubt Luffy's intuition. Oh wait, did I read this wrong? Was this... So I took it as the person on the Dendamushi was saying that line. But yeah, I guess that does make it sense. That does make more sense if this is Loki saying that. So let me read this again from that perspective. I realized recently that those fears... yes, because the Dendamushi word bubbles are in the rap. So I've realized recently that those fearsome words of yours hide your kindness. All right, I gotta read only the Dendamushi parts. Am I bothering you? I wasn't hoping for that much. I've recently realized that those fearsome words of yours hide your kindness. Oh wait, I skipped some stuff. I am. Even now, the memory makes me tremble uncontrollably. Please don't shout. Okay. So, everything that I was saying about Shanks no longer applies, because after just reading the Dendamushi parts, the fluctuations are Loki. So could this be Shanks? Maybe, but I mean, I still don't want it to be. Let's see. But the reason why I'm even entertaining the idea that it could be Shanks is just because we were told that that they have met. And then for like a couple of chapters later to like specifically telegraph like, hey, we've never met. It kind of ties the two things together for like a small narrative twist. Not a good one, not like, oh wow, but like it's still something. Don't make me sick. How dare you suggest such a thing? I'll not have you sassing me like this. Me kind, never say that again. So just wait until I get these chains off, Shaggy. Okay, yeah, I get it. So I read that part too fast when I was going through everything. I want to know what the community thinks as far as who's on the other line. Emil Diaz, member for 43 months, said Shanks, Stabs, and Pierce Figureland. So everybody's saying that's Shanks' sister in the cloak? Oh, people don't think that this is Shanks. People think that at the end this is Stabs. This is the brother of Shanks. And then by proxy, this girl would be like a sister, like a holy knight or something. I don't know. I'm not ruling out that that's actually Shanks. Matt B said, Mosa Mosa is a Japanese word for a very hairy person. Mosako is a Luffy-style nickname for him because he has a hairy Denden Mushi. You'll also remember, if you've seen it, the film Z. That was like one of Z's men's like vocal stim. Mosa 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 Mosa. And he had like the moss fruit or whatever it was. So Zigzag said, I'm certain that's not Shanks. Does his crew notice when he teleports around? He just left Elbaf by vote. Now he's back by magic. I think that's a twin or clone or uncle. I don't know. Everybody thinks it's a clone or twin of his, a clone of Shanks. Look, I know we're doing clone piece and everything, but I don't know. That's not something I'm going to be too keen on. Everything I'm reading in the chat here is just like everybody's so adamant that this is not Shanks at the end when we have no confirmation about it. Brandon said tinfoil time. This is Shanks' brother. Shanks' brother is Bonnie's dad. The pirate he talked about was Bonnie. That's interesting. That's a way to make it more interesting. Leonardo said, Randy, read Oda's Jump Festa message and you will understand who this guy is. I have not read Oda's Jump Festa message. Did he come out and say that this is Shanks' brother? Like, what's going on here?
It's about to get spicy.
Shout out to K-Pro N. W's in the chat. Said, I got questions, Captain. I need answers. So you better get to work. Have a great day, sir. I'm ready for the questions, K-Pro. Tug supered and said, Shanks' evil brother Stabs and his protege, Purina. The Kuina that grew up with Zoro is a failed clone. I'm about to flip Egghead upside down. Or Elbaf, I guess. All of that would be like the One Piece jumping the shark moment for me. Even Saeed in all caps, that's not Shanks. I need a link to the Jump Festa message, guys. That'd be crazy. XIF, probably pronounced Ziff, said it's Ginny at the end. Bandages from the disease, plus no body in the flashback. That would be crazy. I wouldn't want that, but it'd be crazy. Saeed said, what do you mean no body? Kuma literally buried her and we see a grave. Yeah, I mean, we did see the body with, you know, all diamond up. But, yeah, I don't want that. Emil said, Ripley feels like a Madame Charlie, Viola Hiyori of the arc, significant background character. Yeah. That's what the early impression would be. Ripley's looking like Kratos from with the face tat. Saeed said the ko suffix was used as an honorary title for dukes, princes, or lords, but nowadays it can be used as a familiar or derogatory suffix for people or animals. Brandon said, correction, Randy, apparently Mosa is an adjective meaning long-haired. Shaggy's a good translation because it's like Luffy calling someone beard guy. Yeah. Barry said Luffy and Loki will be besties by the end of this. I agree with Lucy that Luffy's intuition is rarely wrong. Yeah, like I said, I expect like Usopp and Loki to have some sort of an altercation, but by the end of the arc, Loki, you know, will be like the reluctant helper for Luffy. Like he's gotta come to the realization that Luffy is the sun god and that he is not. So but I do like the idea and the parallel that's happening here where the world itself does not have a king, right? But it does. No one sits on the throne, but someone does. Elbaf doesn't have a king, but someone just magically teleported into the castle next to the throne. So they do.
Together we're stronger.
In the spirit of the holidays.
Together we're stronger.
Code 1, XZ supered and said the rat agenda is officially dead. Apologize, please. I really have to see the Jump Festa thing, because I don't know what we're really talking about here. I see Brandon put it in the chat. Alright, so I'll read that. Aether supered and said Shanks' scar visible from right in chapter 434 with Whitebeard. Cloaked Shanks at Gorosei at same angle, scar not visible. I think this is a soft confirmation. I don't know. I'm not huge on the idea of this Shanks has an evil brother thing. Okay, so Oda's full message at Jump Festa. Super! Yao-san, I'll never forget that time you took me to that queer bar and the memories we made. Thank you for being Frankie for so long. No matter where you go, we'll always be Nakama. Subaru-san, I look forward to working with you from now on. Pleased to meet you. Oh, we got the confirmation of who's going to be the new Frankie. That's right. So it's not Bellamy. Who is the chat? Fill me in here. What's this guy done? Guardian Trees supered and said title and editor's note means it isn't Shanks coming. Let's see. To everybody who came to Jump Festa, hello, it's me, the fit, primitive, and glamorous Eiichiro Oda. So, this year marked the 25th anniversary of the anime, so we kicked it off with a whirlwind of events, the opening of the Harajuku Mugiwara store, and releasing the One Piece base app, to the point that 2024 ended before I even realized. I'm deeply grateful to all the staff that contributed to One Piece. Fan letter was amazing too, and particularly I enjoyed my visit to South Africa where the live action is being shot. As I wrote in my message on the experience, I was humbled by the love of the whole staff, humbled by the love the whole staff and cast have for One Piece. A lot of people told me One Piece is already popular worldwide, so why even bother putting so much effort into a live action? Yes, it may be popular in the animation industry worldwide, but if someone told you new unexplored horizons await out there, wouldn't that make you want to go after them too? So whether it's the manga, anime, film, or live action, I will give my best. Basically, we'll be preparing various new announcements next year for One Piece as well. Please look forward to the return of the anime too. As for the manga, at last we have reached Elbaf. Everything seems to be laid back and all in this country, but the arrival of a certain man will break that calm. Meanwhile, we'll also see abnormal phenomena happening in the other oceans. Fun. That man will finally begin to stir up the world. Enjoy the breather while you still can, for you may not get a chance to catch your breath again. Please look forward to this next super year for One Piece. A certain man will break that calm. I mean, that doesn't tell me it's not Shanks. I'm very interested in seeing the abnormal phenomena happening in other oceans. That man will finally begin to stir up the world. Speaking about Blackbeard, that's my interpretation. So, anytime we're getting some BB, it's fine by me. Huh. Oh man, seeing this thing on Twitter with Kazuki out placing a pair of Frankie's underwears on the stage and walking away. Oh wow. Oh, that's wild. I probably need the audio for that. Here, let me catch up on the chat actually. Shout out to Blazer Riz, Andy Dalif, Cody Roth, Juno 2, and Troy Thompson. You guys are now members. B-Gamer said, there's also the classic question where Oda was asked if Shanks is a twin brother because of how fast he moves around the world, and Oda's answer was redacted. Magmortar, come on, it's a classic trope, the evil twin brother, not a good one, but still. I don't know. Blazer is, Randy, the theory has always been that Shanks that was in Holy Land was actually his evil twin. That's where this started. Then we got word about the figure lens years later. Yeah, I know. That doesn't mean I like it. Oh. So the new Frankie is Suru Kimura. Besto friendo. Toto from Jujutsu Kaisen. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I would have been cool with Bellamy. With Wataru. But I do like that guy from Jujutsu Kaisen. He crushed that role. That's Frankie energy. So I trust, I believe. You know, it's not going to be the Yao Man, but... Subaru Kimura also voices Buggy? What? No way that's the same person. What are you talking about? Brandon shared a link for Frankie's voice actor. Yeah, there's no Buggy here. So I'm only familiar with Toto here. Oh, young Buggy. Young Buggy. During the Odin flashback. Okay. Gotcha. Would have been cool if they had like a little clip of him doing something, or, you know, like animated so that we could hear his voice. June said, so do you not believe it, or you just don't want it? Nobody has really given me concrete proof that this is not Shanks. So until Otis, tells us that this is Stabs or whatever, like, this is Shanks. Looks like Shanks. Shanks. He's just stepping away from his crew real quick. Something, called them back. Oh, later, BK. Appreciate you, man. June said, there's no proof that it is either. Shanks using a transportation circle is just as left field, don't you think? No, because I've been saying that Shanks would be able to do this. Like, this has been one of my theories. So as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm leaning into this because one of my theories is that Shanks can do these transportation circles, and this is why he's able to move across the world. This is how he got to Marineford. This is how he got into the Holy Land. So, it's just like, I think it would be really silly if we go back to 908, 909, whatever it was, and we look at I want to talk about a certain pirate line, and it was never Shanks at all, and it's Shanks' brother, right? Then it's like, what's the point of the line? Well, because it's you, will hold this audience. I mean, if it's a holy night, or, Garling's son, or, or whatever, and, like, they are always in the Holy Land, sure, it's the Gorosei, but they should still be way more approachable than that. Like, the way they were speaking to him was like, well, you're a pirate, but you hold status, so we'll talk to you. The way they spoke to him wasn't like, you're one of the holy knights, so we'll talk to you. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I feel like they would have been a little more like, all right, what do you need? But they added that extra layer to it that really implies that it is Shanks. We don't know enough about Shanks for this not to be Shanks. I've been saying that these circles and all this stuff, this has to be the pinnacle of hockey. This has to be like something that some of the top tiers can do. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if Mihawk knows how to do something like this. Like, there's certain things that certain characters in this world should be able to do if the Gorosei can do it, because there has to be a way to learn a version of this, because we need fast travel on our side as well. If we're not going to get the Pawpaw Fruit, then we need this. And I don't think that this is something that, like, Emu gives to you, but is rather something that, like, people can do. It might be rooted in this religion or something. I'm not saying that Luffy, like, needs to be able to do this stuff, but there's a precedence for this. Like, why were the people at, Harahetanya, like, where did they learn this stuff? And because it's the same circle, it's the same thing. They were trying to reach the underworld, right? And where's the underworld? Here in Elbaf. Brook appears to them. It's played for a gag, but it's like it's still tied and rooted in all of this. So there is some sort of religion that we really haven't been told enough about, and this is a part of the religion. And the religion ties to Emu and the Gorosei and the Void Century and all of that, and these transmutation circles are part of it. Has to be. But it also feels like what those people were doing, realistically, and I'm talking about the ones that summoned Brook, in quotation, summoned Brook, but it feels like what they were doing should be treated as, like, as, kind of like what Ohara had going on with the books and everything that they're doing. Like, they shouldn't be able to have access to this power or these abilities if that is something that is solely only, you know, an emu thing or whatever. Guardian Trees supered and said, back a few chapters. We also had panels of Shanks' silhouette when showing those in the race for the One Piece. Shanks can probably teleport too, but the title. What is the title of the chapter? The Owl Library. What is it? The title is The Owl Library. What does that have to do with Shanks? Yes, we did see the silhouette. I don't think that was Shanks. I mean, I don't think it was Shanks' brother or all this other stuff. I've already talked about like different possibilities for who that silhouette could be. I'm just not going to entertain Shanks having a sibling, an evil twin sibling, until Oda gives it to us, because I think it's such a tired trope. And I feel like we can get a Luffy versus Shanks fight that has gravitas and meaning and doesn't break the narrative or make Shanks evil without having to force an evil twin of Shanks into the story so that we can just have like the visuals of Luffy punching Shanks, but it has none of the meaning of it. We don't need evil Shanks. We don't need evil twin Shanks. Shanks by himself is already very mysterious and already moves in a way that I don't find Shanks completely altruistic, but I don't find him evil. I feel like he knows things and he's putting things in place to make them happen. But it's also like not this far, but it's almost like Shanks has kind of a Thanos mindset, but toned down, obviously. It's like, okay, the world is abusing all of the resources, so I'm just going to get rid of half of the population and then everybody else will be able to live, fine. Like, I'm not saying that Shanks is Thanos. I'm not saying that Shanks is evil like Thanos. I'm saying that the way that you could have that argument that well, Thanos is right, but you could also say well, why don't you just double the resources instead of getting rid of half of the population. But what I'm trying to say is that when we get to the end of One Piece, there is going to be some sort of part of the prophecy that is this needs to happen. And Shanks knows it needs to happen, so he will step over, let someone die, someone, take the fall or whatever, so that the pieces fall into place. That's what I believe his character to be. He is not completely good. He's not going to save everyone. It's going to be a thing where okay, if your death means that we get to the end result here that frees the world, I'm not going to save you. Even if you're Luffy. Even if you're Luffy. That's how I see Shanks. Maybe I'm wrong. We don't even know enough about Shanks. Well, Leonardo Martin said, the editor's note for this chapter is invaders arrive on Elbaf. Okay. Kane said, Randy, you're the only one in the community that has this take. Alright. That's fine. Carmelo Smith, member for 20 months, said, this could be a Piccolo and Kami moment where Shanks' bad side got separated from his good. I guess there's a precedent for that, considering the Vega Punk was able to split his, different sides of himself. I could see there being a devil fruit that would be able to split you into two halves like that. Like, then I think I would like that more. Like, I would actually like it more if it was something that was like a devil fruit that split him in two, rather than him actually having an evil brother that grew up in the Holy Land, and then Shanks like grew up with the people. Like, we've got enough of that in One Piece. Like, Sabo is already like emblematic of everything that already is. So it's like, but there also wouldn't be, there's not precedent in the story of Oda, instead of doubling down on the character that he already established, creating a new one to fit the bill. It's like everything that Yamato stood for, Tama was already doing better in the first two acts of Wano, and then Oda creates Yamato, and like it's the same idea. Zigzag said, it's heartbreaking and pants breaking. Open your heart to not Shanks, Randy. I don't know. Jacob said, to be honest, Oda's controversial writing choices make me think anything is possible with his plot twists now. Gorosei could have just been yapping. I mean, maybe. Miyamoto said, it's not Shanks, give it up, Randy, you're usually smarter than this. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just not ruling out the fact that this could be Shanks. I'm not even forcing it. It looks like Shanks. If it ends up not being Shanks, like, whatever. Like, Oda usually finds a way to, like, if there's something that I'm not entirely, like, into, he finds some way to make it work and make it make sense. So if he's gonna do this trope of having a twin brother or whatever, then it better be the best version of the evil twin trope that I've ever seen in my life. And I have faith in Oda that he will actually do that. Shout out to Big Ty again. Said Lucy B to the rescue. Lucy B said there's another option. Someone faking Shanks' appearance. That is actually an option. W's in the chat for Ty, by the way. And also Lucy, by inspiring this. Okay, so if it's someone impersonating Shanks, that could be interesting. But we already have, like, Mr. Two's Fruit. We already have Devon. So, I mean, it's definitely neither of those. So that means that we'd be getting another sort of doppelganger fruit. I like the idea, but I don't know if the practicality of having a third fruit that basically does the same thing, though. Barry said, Randy always says he loves it when he's right, but loves it even more when he's wrong, so we're going to let him cook and see what the meal is when dinner is ready. Exactly. I love it when I'm right. I love it even more when I'm wrong. Oda surprised me. Okay? I'm going to take everything at face value until Oda tells me otherwise. And yes, we're here to theorize, we're here to speculate, we're here to discuss all options. We are discussing the option of it being an evil Shanks. But I'm also, you know, taking the stance that I'm like, I actually would prefer if it's just Shanks. I don't need another character, is what I'm saying. Like, we're in the final saga. I don't need to develop a character that is just being introduced right now. When we have this character from chapter 1, that having this be that character would elevate his mystery to, like, an infinite potential decimal. Like, it's just... like, if this is Shanks, it's just like, whoa! And if it's another person, I'm just like, okay. You know, like, I'm more excited about the prospect of it being Shanks, because it's like, okay, so how did he learn this? What brought him to put this cloak on? What's the backstory behind all of this? Like, I'm asking more questions if it's Shanks than if I'm talking about it if it's his twin brother, because I already have the answers. I need more specific answers. But if it's an evil twin that grew up in the Holy Land, then okay, I got it. The Holy Knights probably all can do this then. Garland can do this. He's going to show up to Elbaf. He's going to pull up with one of these things. You know, it's like, these are possibilities, you know, with all of that. But that's still a possibility that can happen either way. So I don't know if you guys see where I'm going with this as far as, like, the possibilities of it being Shanks. We can discuss all day whether or not this is, like, you know, fake Shanks or stabs, but I like it more if it's really Shanks. Dawn Knight said, Shanks is just a blank canvas where literally anything is possible. And that's where I'm going with this. Like, he's so blank that I need something in the story to, like, to color him, to tell me more about this character. Why would I want to spend so much time with Luffy fighting Shanks' brother when I could have Luffy fight Shanks, which he already said he wanted to do in Punk Hazard? He's even going to fight Shanks. He said it to Law. So it needs to happen. Let it be Shanks. Let this be the Shanks arc. This is the Four Emperors saga. Okay, we already took down Kaido. We kind of took down Big Mom. I think there's still more to do there. Shanks, you're next. Okay? We got Buggy / Crocodile, the real Emperor. Saving that for last. Best for last, baby. Platypus Practica said nothing wrong with being alone in a take, and I don't mind being alone in a take. Matt B said it's definitely cooler if it's Shanks. Thank you. I'm not alone. Blue Blah said math piece is more than just comparing dates, but comparing chapters that end with the same numbers. Compare the profile of Shanks we see on 434 and the one on 1134. Okay. Going to chapter 434 now. All right, 434. All right, so we talking about the one where he says, leave, teach alone. That's the only wish I have. I mean, that's probably the only comparable profile here. But it is interesting that, you know, we have Shanks in another 34 here. Oh no, wait, we got it on... We have one that's actually like the same one here. Yeah. I mean, it's very similar. The only thing that's different is that, you know, the scar on the other side is more pronounced, pulling over to the other side. Now, I'm not going to say that that doesn't mean that it's not there, because everybody got up in arms during Lego Piece that Luffy had a sword, then an axe, then this and this. Oh, it's all a dream, blah, 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 blah. And what did I say then? Oda just forgot that he drew a sword or something, because it ended up not being a dream. So, you know, I mean, there's been times where, you know, Oda drew a crocodile with 2 hands instead of a hook, you know, once. And then it had to get corrected for the volume. I'm pretty sure that was an Impel Down. And everybody was talking about that. It's just like, oh wow, he always had 2 hands. And it's, so, I don't know. I'm actually more interested to know when 434 came out. Was it the last chapter of the year? No, it wasn't. So there's no math piece there. It was a November chapter. November 13th, 2006. This chapter would be more likely trying to emulate either 393 or 394, I would think. 393. It depends. Is this issue 3 or issue 4-5? One Piece chapter 1134. No, this is 4-5. Okay. So then what happened in chapter 394? That's what we got to look at. Ohara's demons. This is Clover getting arrested in the library, and meanwhile we are in the library for the first time at Elbaf. So it's slight, but that would be the math piece here. Catching up on the chat. The Tilter said, W. Randy, everybody else trying to force their own story all the time. Well, I would have wrote it like this type energy. Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not immune to that. Like, I've definitely said those, you know, those types of things before, but it's not. But I don't try to like exist in that. I try to accept what Oda gives and then try to find like, okay, why did we do this? Where are we going with this because of it? So. Miles said, Randy with Schrodinger's Shanks isn't that bad, considering some One Piece content creators are lambasting Oda's writing choices. Fixing Kuma, Stella Vega Punk. Oh yeah, I mean, we didn't even talk about that. I can only imagine the community is in an uproar about that, and I could care less about the Vega Punk thing, because the Vega Punk thing was so obvious. So obvious. Kuma, on the other hand, I gotta see how it plays out. Growthstock Superman said Shanks' twin brother Shiv is Bonnie's father. The pirate he was referring to is his daughter. That's why he's on Elbaf and why Kuma is being brought back. So I did like that. That was a theory that was brought up earlier. I think Brandon mentioned it. BK. That's a way to like that's a way to make it work. Like that's essentially when I say that Shanks' brother, you know, or doing something like this is like a tired trope and it shouldn't happen or anything. Like there has to be a clear plot reason, like story-driven thing for it. That is such, and that would be a compelling story, and it would make it worth bringing Kuma back, having the emotion with Bonnie, all of this kind of stuff. And there's opportunities to milk things from that. Now, alternatively, what would also be crazy is that it's Shanks! Not that we need evil Shanks or whatever, but I mean, like, that would be crazy too. Shanks took a little sabbatical from the red-haired pirates, became Bonnie's father. But like I said, I don't want evil Shanks. I just want morally gray Shanks that gets called out for not being entirely good. Shout out to Cooper Y. Appreciate the 10. Said happy holidays, Randy and Chrissy. Thanks, Cooper. You too, and everybody in chat. Randy, do you think the amnesia trope has a place anywhere in fiction? You're so against the whole Sabo situation, which I get, but I don't think it ruined anything. There's always ways to make any trope work, and there's a lot of ways to do them wrong. People were upset with the Big Mom amnesia. I didn't care. That one didn't bother me because it pushed story, not necessarily in my opinion the best direction, but it followed a theme. So like, I know you asked about Sabo, but I'm going to get to that, but I'm just going to use everything about early Wano was all about identity. I talked about this in some videos back in the day, but you know, it's like you have Sanji hiding his identity with Soba Mask. You have Ashura Doji was, you know, he changed his name, right? You have Kamazo and Killer. You have Momonosuke like trying to figure out where he is. Like, is he Odin's son, or because he can turn into a dragon, is he actually like, you know, part Kaido? You have everything with Yamato, and there's the Hitetsu Sukiyaki thing, right? There's another like false identity thing. And if I really sat here and tried to remember all of the things, like I'm sure others would come. Denjiro, and you know, obviously he was playing a role as well. Big Mom having amnesia fell into that trope, right? Because now she was Big Mom and Olin. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good, but it was still like it falling into this pattern of everything going on. Sabo, on the other hand, I'm still not entirely convinced that Sabo was planned from the beginning. So Oda needed. I think that there were some things during the Marineford saga that like coalesced beautifully, and then there's a couple of things that I think came out last minute. Like, I don't know if Ace was always intended to be Roger's son, and I just because of everything with Rouge and the 20 months, like that's really weird. And then because of that, you know, Oda, it's this all kind of ties into everything that we're getting with Saul here as well, which is Robin had no one to go back to at the end of this that, you know, that she could reunite with that actually has meaning and purpose to her childhood. Now she does. If Ace died without Sabo, Luffy would be in the same situation as Robin was pre-Saul being revealed to be alive. And I think that, and I'm just spitballing and I don't mean to speak for Oda here, but I think that he wants every single member of the Straw Hats to have somebody from their past alive. At least one person that they can, like, you know, go back to at the end of everything. And for Luffy, that person now is Sabo. And Sabo didn't exist, so he needed to be created, and then you have to figure out the scenario of, like, well, why wasn't he, like, not only talked about pre-Marineford, but, like, involved in the story, amnesia. And that's sort of, in that scenario, I think it's a retcon. Whereas I think the Olin thing was actually deliberate. So that's the difference there. And I hope that that sort of, like, using that example to explain another kind of makes it work. I think the best scenario would have been introducing Sabo much earlier. And really letting us believe that he was dead for a much longer period of time, or just coming right out and letting us know that he is alive in the pre-time skip, but that it was just really hard to, like, you know, find Luffy, find Ace, you know, like, try and make that work or something. Or have something deliberately keep him from getting to Marineford, or, you know, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. You know, I mean, like, amnesia is a real thing. So it's, you know, it's something that's rooted in the real world. It's something that can actually happen. But it's also a plot device. And you just have to use it the way that it's... You just have to make the best of it. I said, Randy, I don't need another character. Oda, hold my beer. Yeah, that's every other week with One Piece. Seal Vlad Ivanovici said, calling it, Vegapunk's perfect Stella clone will be a young, Chad-upped version of himself. Well, that's something I was talking about earlier. I was like, there's no reason for him to make a clone of himself that is young and old. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he, you know, made some modifications to himself. You know, or just made himself younger. As I said, what if Buggy had a good twin named Muggy? Bring it on. Twin Piece. Tuggy, Dougie. Teach him how to. Guardian Trees super chatted and said, Luffy wants his crew to surpass Shanks. It needs to be crew versus crew if they fight, but if they aren't here... Sorry, I just don't like Evil Shanks' agenda. I don't like Evil Shanks' agenda either, but that's why I said, like, I want morally gray Shanks. Okay? I don't want evil Shanks, I want morally gray. Like, even Shanks' dialogue with Rayleigh in that flashback in, like, I don't know, 509, 508, something like that. implies that there's some sort of plan in place. Luffy's a part of that plan. But I also think that, you know, my own headcanon is that Shanks at any time probably could have saved Ace or Whitebeard or something, and just didn't show up until it was time to save Luffy. So he's fighting Kaido, pulls up, he like warns him like, hey, you do this, whatever. Don't. But then probably realized like the only way to make Luffy his horse in the race and get him where he needs to be was for Ace to die. So like those are those hard choices, and those also kind of like team up with like my own ideas of Garp, and like there's just got to be some sort of bigger picture. Shout out to Ty. Repeat. Pluggy. There we go. Triple word score. I win. Unless you can think of a better evil buggy name, Cap. Sluggy. Chicky Nuggy. Pull out the Ruggy. Chugga chug chuggy. Nuggy's my favorite though. Nuggy Sencho. Pluggy should be a dance move. Yeah, teach me how to pluggy. I want to see more W's in the chat for Ty. Miles said Shanks, if there's no twin, is starting to move like Watchman's Ozymandias. In a way, yeah. Like that it's just... I want him to think he's doing things for the best, but his methods are crazy. And then it's just like, well, I have to match their methods. And Luffy can be the character that's like, no, you don't. Watch this. Which would double down on Shanks choosing the right person also. Like, wow, I chose this person. I bet on the new era. And I chose correctly because he just showed me a better way to do this thing that I thought needed to be done this way. And it really didn't have to be. So good job, Luffy. You're actually embodying the spirit of Roger more than I was. I went down a wrong path. I'm not evil, but I'm not good. You're good. You know, something like that. Ty said, damn it, Chicky Nuggies peak. Guardian Tree said, I just don't want Luffy to lose his hero. There's ways to do it. There's ways to do it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's this the same line of thinking of if Shanks was morally gray or anything, and like had an out with Luffy, and that's, you know, considered a problem, is the same line of thinking that, oh, because Saul is alive, like that completely undermines the entirety of Robin's flashback. Luffy said he wants to fight Shanks, so their relationship is going to get tenuous at some point anyway. Shanks is going to stand in front of Luffy, and between him and the One Piece, to make sure that he is actually the person worthy of what Roger wanted in the first place. And if Luffy can't beat Shanks, then Shanks is going to deem Luffy not worthy. But Luffy's also his own person. Like, he's not sitting here daydreaming about Shanks as a, you know, a 19-year-old man now. He's living up to the, you know, his whole thing was that he wanted to be better than Shanks anyway. So it's not even that Shanks is his hero. Shanks is his motivation. Shanks is his inspiration. But I think hero might just be a step too far. Lucy B. supered and said, let's talk about Kuma. Will be like an Alzheimer's? Ugh. I hope not. Anybody who's dealt with that, you know, I don't think they need reminders. If Lilith is going to fix Kuma, Lilith is going to fix Kuma completely. And I would still, at that point, probably want Kuma to die at some point, sacrifice himself. But, you know, he'll come back and make a big play. Which I'm okay with as long as he still, like, has an emotional end. Because it's like, if you're gonna do all this stuff to this man and then give him a happy ending, I don't know. Like, it's nice, but it's not needed in the same way that, like, what's going on with Robin and Saul was needed, in my opinion. We need some more tragedy in the story to propel our characters. Like, we just had this big happy reunion between Robin and Saul. So something bad has to happen to somebody so that we can, you know, refocus. And if it's Kuma, then that's cool because he's the savior for literally all of them. So it gives them motivation to, like, go forward. Like, if Saul died, right, which I think Saul is safe for now. I think if you're going to bring him back in this way, he's good. But if, hypothetically, Saul were to die again, right, but this time for real, yeah, Luffy gets mad, the crew gets mad, it's awful for Robin, but the impact is really only on Robin, and you're just torturing Robin, you're just twisting the knife. That's not great for a story. Kuma, on the other hand, like, if he had this big sacrifice play, like, it's something that literally every member of the crew can get behind and feel sorry for Bonnie, right? But they all have their own debt to Kuma. So then they would want to, like, avenge him, not only for Bonnie, but for their own sake of 3D2Y and everything. So. Miles said Kuma and Bonnie deserve the happy ending. I do want that for her, but I think we get more story out of Kuma not having a happy ending. And I'm always going to look for, like, the story opportunities. That's why I like Saul being alive, because it gives us story opportunities. He gets to tell us things. Kuma being alive just means that he gets to fight and you know, hug his daughter, which is important, the last part. But we've got enough people that can fight. So unless he, like, actively joins the crew and becomes our teleporter, then I don't know. Here, I'll be right back, guys. Cheer, peace. We're back. Cole calls the woman at the end Atu, Uda backwards. I mean, I like the implications of whoever this could be. You know, it could also be a thing where, like, Shanks is just giving whoever this is safe passage. Barry said there are happy endings possible without Kuma. I agree. And it's like... It's just... Lucy B said, but how memories are gone, right? Oda can retcon that at any moment. Like, oh yeah, the memory bubble that he had, I figured out a way to, you know, save that. And, you know, digitally, I digitally downloaded everything that was in that paw into this disc, and now I'm just going to plug it back into Kuma. you know, it's stupid, but there's always a way to do it. A man that was like so hurt by what he did, he would have been obsessed with trying to find a way to fix Kuma. And I'm sure he, as the smartest man in the world, would have figured it out. And he had all the memories in a room that he could have continuously experimented upon. So it's, I think the fact that he had the memories in a bubble means that they can go back at any time. Or because Bonnie went into the bubble and experienced all of those memories, it could be a thing where Bonnie is used as the vessel, and the memories just flow from her into Kuma, which would maybe be a better way of doing it, because it would be a way for Bonnie to give something back to Kuma. I like that better, actually. You know, if they just figure out some way to link the two of them, and Bonnie's able to give that back to her father. I think that's a cute moment. Miles said the Punisher isn't a villain, but he's no Spider-Man. That's a good comparison to, you know, how I want to, you know, view Shanks. Like, you keep in mind, guys, you know, like, everybody wants Shanks to be this goody two-shoes, but, like, look at what he did to Barto very recently. Okay, that's who we're dealing with. Like, this dude is gray. He is not good. You know? If he's good, he's chaotic good. But he might even be more on the neutral scale. Big Stinky said, Lilith and Frankie integrate Kuma into the Sunny. Imagine the Sunny having its Blotterman be Kuma. Vega Punk shows everyone how to extract a soul. See, that's what I was expecting for Vega Punk. Like, I thought Vega Punk would be integrated into the Sunny and become like the, you know, basically like the Kit from Knight Rider. Having it be Kuma. I don't know. I mean, I'm still iffy. I mean, I want the Sunny to somehow be able to Kuda Burst teleport, but I also don't want the Sunny to sink. Lilith and Frankie are definitely going to upgrade the Sunny, though. We have the Atom Tree Wood here. Like, it's happening. It's happening. Lilith is creating a lab here. We're locking in. Yeah, Big Sneaky said Bonnie absorbed it all and it can get re-extracted out of her and put into Kuma. Yeah. Seal Vladimir VG Super said, speaking of memory bubbles, imagine if at any point from now on we'll find one from the Void Century and that would start the flashback. Cooking. I like that. That would actually be a good way. If there was a bubble that has survived all this time, and it's from Lily. Because of course she would have had the pop off route in the Void Century. And that's how we get the Lily flashback. Ooh-wee! I like that. Let's see. I'm looking at the Discord right now. There's a trailer for the Rose arc movie. Yeah, I heard they were doing that as a movie. That was my favorite part of Chainsaw Man. One Piece anime confirmed to return on April 6th. New time slot, 11:15 p.m. Really? Wasn't it like originally like it would air at like 8 or 9 in the morning in Japan? Now it's going to like a super late night time? That's like a complete opposite thing. This is confirmed. A new One Piece movie is currently in development. Is that actually confirmed? Swimsuit transfer ceremony. So that's what it was. He dropped the. Oh wow! So he dropped the trunks, and the new Frankie came and picked him up. And then Barry sent me the images of the new Frankie. Ty said Adult Swim. That's exactly what it was like, what I was thinking of when I... Yeah. Fam Greyfire said, good reason or not, nobody hurts a friend of mine, Shanks. I see Luffy fighting him, if only for this reason. Mm-hmm. Saeed said yes, it was 9:30 a.m. in Japan. So from 9:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's insanity. No, that's not confirmed. There is no movie copy. Said said, I think people are looking in between the lines of Oda's messages when Oda was talking about giving it his all in mediums, including films. Oh. That's where they're coming from with all this? Okay. Womp womp. That's, yeah. Yeah, Yao is a real one for doing the panties exchange. But I also, I love that, you know, we're in a position for that to have actually happened, you know, because it's, you know, even when we were doing live reactions, like you could hear the strain in Kazuki Yao's voice. Everybody was talking about it. So I'm just glad that, you know, he's okay, that he's still with us, and that he was able to, you know, pass the torch. It's the, you know, will I miss him as Frankie? Absolutely. Frankie's, you know, top 3 Straw Hats for me. One of my favorite characters of all time. Top 10 characters. And this is the best way that it could have gone, considering that we've still got many years to go. And it may not be the only one that this happens with. We'll just have to wait and see. Miles said, as subtext to this, doesn't this all but confirm the One Piece will be a new voice actor cast? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing too, is that I don't know the extent of Netflix's relationship with Toei Animation. Netflix has a deal with Shueisha. So now they were able to get the core 5 and then some to do the Japanese dub for the live action. But I don't know what that means for the One Piece. And realistically, we probably should be looking at a different voice cast. And I actually do hope I don't know if it'll happen, but you know, my pipe dream is that the live action cast does the English dub. But you know, we'll see how things go. I've talked about that before. Did they show anything of the One Piece at Jump Fest? Did Jump Fest have anything about the One Piece? Any new clips, new key visuals, anything? No. Alright. So, what are the community thoughts on who Mosa / Shaggy can be? Have individuals scoured the bearded members of One Piece to figure out who he could maybe be talking to? Like, it doesn't seem like it would be a giant. Like, I don't think it's going to be Ural or Jarl or, you know, whichever, the one that's still alive. Even though the snail does look like that. Because it wouldn't make sense that Loki, as a prince, wouldn't have met one of the chieftains. Ooh, Phantom Greyfire. A non-dead King Harold. But if Loki wasn't supposed to be King Harold's son, then that would have been a great guess. Like, if Loki was just some, like, rando, then I would have said, oh, wait, we've done this before where the king isn't actually dead. You know, the leader isn't actually dead. So that... I think we shouldn't rule out the idea of King Harold actually being alive, though, just because it's happened so many times in the story. But I don't think that that's who's on the snail. Event said I thought it was Blackbeard at first, but wouldn't make sense, probably. I mean, it would be cool, but I don't think so either. There we go. Soul Flake. Cooking. Wang Zhe. / Ochoku. That's a good one, right? Because there's a character that we've heard about tangentially that has been talked about, you know, in recent years, that had something happen to them that they may not have met, but now they're working together. I like that. That's my favorite. That's my favorite right now because it gives us context on Rocky Port potentially. Are you still traumatized by that experience you were telling me about? That could be Rocky Port. I am. Now the memory makes me tremble uncontrollably. Tremble. That's a key word there. I wonder what Saeed does. The Japanese in that line imply potentially an earthquake of some kind. Like, is the word, like, are they using tremble? Because saying tremble here could imply like dealing with Blackbeard, having, you know, having the you know, some sort of an earthquake going on. If I were in your place, I'd have razed it to the ground and killed them all instead. Like, that's a great thing if they're talking about Hachinosu. Wasn't hoping for that much. And that's why you're so weak, Shaggy. Listen, you don't want to let these fools get away. You put them down for good or they'll come back for vengeance. Thank you. I've recently realized that those fearsome words of yours hide your kindness. So, okay, so here's why I like this being Wang Zhi. If I were there in your place, I'd have razed it to the ground and killed them all instead. Okay, talking about Hachinosu, just burn the whole thing to the ground. And that's why you're weak. My headcanon is that Rox was a good guy based on the fact that you have Whitebeard there, who was essentially a good man. Or close to a good man, right? So what if Wang Zhi was also kind? What if he was like a peaceful leader of Pirate Island? You know? He wasn't an emperor, he wasn't a, you know, a warlord, maybe he was a warlord based on, you know, the, you know, an old warlord or something, not obviously one of the current ones. But the real life Wang Zhi worked for the government and was a you know, a real life warlord. You put them down for good or they'll come back for vengeance. So for everybody that wants Law to come back into the story, get more Blackbeard, get more Kobe, that line could dive into that, right? So that's how you get more Law in the story. Law ends up reuniting here with Wang Zhi, with Beppo or something. And then Wang Zhi tries to take him out, and then somehow you get Law involved in Elbaf now. That would make a lot of fans happy. That's the way to do it. Oh, well, Soulflake was talking about God Valley. That's interesting, too. So he's not actually talking about Rocky Port. He's talking about God Valley. But it's so long ago. It seems like there's like a recency here when they say you put them down for good or they'll come back for vengeance. God Valley was 38 years ago, so there's a long time for vengeance there. Barry said it would be cool to have the live action dub the One Piece, but also consider the screen actors as well and scheduling conflicts to happen. There's a lot of ways to work around voice acting work, because that's just, you're in a booth for, I mean, you could do that whole, you could do an entire season in a booth and, you know, a week of just having the actors go through everything. You know, if you're pulling, you know, full days and stuff like that, like you can get through that stuff pretty fast. Scheduling conflicts are more when, like, they're tied to another live action property, you know. Then it's, you have to be in that place. You have to wait for the schedule to get to the parts that you have to do and all of that. That's when it gets tricky. Polkazard said, imagine it's a Kainu, how he wanted to kill all the pirates at Marineford. That's fun. I don't know if it would be that, but it's an interesting thought. Yes, Dizza, I did say Bep Goat. Miles said, all I want for Christmas is God Valley flashbacks. I think you're getting cold this year, but better luck next year. So Flake said Rocky Port works better, but I don't think it would traumatize him. Well, we don't know much about Rocky Port, but we know that, like, Hongju was completely decimated and dethroned. So I think there's an element there that could imply that he was traumatized. Like, Blackbeard should be able to traumatize individuals. I don't know if Saeed's still here and if he answered the question that I had earlier. Saeed said, I don't think the beard is from the character. I think it belongs to the snail. Lucy B, so silhouette is Wang Zhi. I mean, I'd be okay with that. Like, that's a cool thing that's been set up since 957, you know? Or it's Louis Arnaut. It's the silhouette here on Elbaf. Who knows? The lurking legend. There's a lot of possibilities. Yeah. Well, I feel like we can probably start winding down. Saeed said, yeah, I just caught up. The term that was used was trembling, shivering, or quaking. It's the same kanji that's used in earthquake. I don't think that means anything, though, lol. I think it does. I think it implies that whatever this character is talking about, whatever he was traumatized by, involved Blackbeard. And you telling me that it's the same kanji that you would use when talking about an earthquake? I think so. I think that's like a little bit of a context clue that's put in here when the snail is saying it. When I think of the memory, it makes me tremble uncontrollably because he had to deal with a bunch of earthquakes. Ty said, you got ambiguous Shanks for Christmas models. We have Shanks at home. See, that's how I feel though. Like if it's a Shanks twin, like that's the Shanks at home. Like I want real Shanks. I don't want Shanks at home. I want real Shanks. Big Stinky said maybe Wang Zhi was actually trying to negotiate with Blackbeard, and Loki is telling him not to negotiate. I don't think that Wang Zhi would have anything that Blackbeard needs at this point. Rocky Point was a year ago. Rocky Port was a year ago. He got everything he needed. He got the island. He got, if there was a poneglyph there, he's got it. Nothing else he needs. Let's see. We got maybe Shanks. Now all we need is a sprinkle of Not Dragon for 2025. Well, I mean, you can put that on any bingo card, and you're probably gonna be right. we always think we're getting Dragon, and we never do. There's just gonna be a chapter where we're just like there's gonna be no like setup for it or anything, and it's just gonna be like, oh, Dragon's here. Okay. It happened. All right. Yeah, I think we should wind down. We're at 2.5 hours. Like I said, I've got 2 videos planned. They're already written. I just got to shoot them, edit them. So one will come out this week, and then the next one probably first week of January. We're gonna have a stream next Sunday. To go over best chapters of the year, do a little tier list, end of the year thing like we normally do. And if you follow me on Twitch at Randy Troy, we might get some Marvel Rivals content. I did just reset up the Xbox for streaming, so I might get back into gaming stuff, and Marvel Rivals is a lot of fun. So I added some of the members, and you might be able to run some games. I did play with Daxaki the other day, and DK. He didn't get to jump in the game, but he was there. Shout out to Barry who said, I figured it out. We're all being fooled. That this man, it's Damalo Black. Calling from prison. And it's another disguise. He's a master of disguise. That's why he's Shaggy. And Loki is gullible and believes that Damalo Black is the true Luffy. So Damalo Black was able to get this man with a special bounty. 2 billion something on his crew. It's great. Next chapter is Friday, January 3rd. Officially, the chapter will release on Friday? Is it one of those weird weeks where the Viz will be on Friday? Or are you talking about the scan? Barry said, Randy, don't read the lag typo. Hey, I read the super chat as written. He said, yes, officially. Okay, so then we might have a Friday stream, guys. We might have a Friday, January 3rd stream for 11:35. If it's the Viz. Big Stinky said, 10-piece nuggy Sancho with Mihawk slice fries, Mama's Croc sauce. Speaking of Cross Guild, I got this stuff that just came in. I'll show you guys this stuff. Gotta rep the, the greatest faction in One Piece history. Yeah, love that. Ugh, the Mihawk's gonna come soon. Yeah, Alvita though. I had ordered a Kabaji, but there was, I don't know, something happened with it, so I didn't get it. There's a holiday in Japan on Monday the 6th. Copy. What about Richie? They made Fat Moji, but I didn't even want to get it. I didn't bother. Do I know when the new time slot is for my time zone? Oh, that's a good... for the anime. So if we're doing anime live reactions, that would be completely different, right? We do the conversion. It'd be like 6 a.m. my time, so we'll never do I don't think we're going to be doing any sort of reacting to episodes as they happen. Because they come out at 6 a.m. PST, 9 a.m. EST. So anime reactions in the future will just be like random and sporadic. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Alright, so 2 new videos coming soon. End of the year wrap up. I don't think I'm gonna do a theory for theory. If I think the holiday is just, it's gonna be too hard to get anybody. Everybody's gonna be like, traveling and stuff anyway. So we'll just do a theory for theory on the whatever the break is gonna be in January. We'll just have our own little community thing on the 29th, going over the best chapters of the year. I'm gonna try and figure out this giveaway stuff to either have it set up for that stream, but no promises because I'm dealing with Christmas and my son's birthday is gonna be that that week as well. So I'm just, this is always a really busy time for me. And some Marvel Rivals, probably unannounced. Just got to be following it on Twitch. And yeah, I think that'll be it. Look out for a members community post to see, if you want to opt in. There's no, you don't have to. Obviously, like, if you win or something, then I would have to, I would send you something. But if you don't want it, then it goes to somebody else. Miles said favorite chapter 2024. That's what we're going to discuss next week. That's what it's going to all be about. All right. So, thanks again, everybody. If I don't see you for the end of the year stream, thank you for a great year. I want everybody to have a great holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year if I don't see you. And, but we'll be here at some point, likely the 29th, to do the little end of the year wrap up we do every year. And then we'll be back on the 3rd for 11:35, or around then, whenever the official is. And yeah, appreciate everybody. Thanks for coming in. Great chapter. Loving Elbaf. See you later, Savage Crew.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.